you don't know where we are on the Indoor Cycling channel, which is your home to all things for spinning and indoor cycling, all of these incredible instructors that we have interviewing and everything like that. So you want to subscribe, of course you do. So hit that button, make sure you get all the notifications and all that jazz, and you don't miss a single thing, like I said, today's interview with the lovely Lindsey. So we're going to jump in with this, Lindsey. Now tell me where you are in the world and where you offer indoor cycling.
All right. So hi, everyone. My name is Lindsey. I am currently in New York, on Long Island. I recently moved about 8 months ago from New York City. So I'm enjoying, living in a house. I offer my classes virtually solely online. I have an on-demand section and a live section, so you can ride with me live. I'm primarily during the morning, but we're adding night classes now. So in the mornings and the evenings, and then on demand whenever you're ready and whenever you're willing and ready to take a class. So yeah.
Fantastic. So obviously you made the move. 8 months is quite recently. That's kind of a new thing. Was it for more space? Did you decide in that 8 months that you were going to go completely virtual?
Well, I've always been virtual.
Okay.
I started in the pandemic. However, my studio, this is not what it started out as. It started out as a bike in my living room. I lived in a Manhattan apartment. I have 2 small children, although now they're almost 3 and 5. So amongst our, tiny apartment, we had a bike and there was a section, and I didn't have this fun vibe going on, but as far as the lighting, but I started with like a great small community, and so the studio has evolved from a small, portion of my living room to my own room in my house. And the reason we moved was this was something I think was always in the cards for us. I think I wanted more space for my children. I grew up living on Long Island as well. And so space was a big thing. And then with the pandemic, I just couldn't stay in the city anymore. So the move happened maybe a year earlier than it would have normally happened, but it happened, and I'm really grateful. I've watched my kids blossom. I think I've really blossomed out of this pandemic. For me, so many great things have happened. This company has happened, and I'm really grateful for it. So it's been a really great evolution and learning experience, and I'm here for it. I love it. So yeah.
Amazing. I feel like this with a lot of people. I think that the pandemic has either been like the catalyst for great positive change, or some people have really struggled when they were kind of maybe already living the life that they wanted to live. But the fact that you've taken something that on the whole was quite a negative situation, wasn't the best fun, and turned it into something positive is, I would say, so very stereotypical for a spin instructor. Spin instructors are the most positive people I've ever met. You are the most resilient group of people. I don't know what it is about you guys, but you just manage to make everything positive, which I'm so in awe of. Well, congratulations, and congratulations with the new house. It must be so much fun. So what I want to know then, you said that you started during the pandemic with spin. Is that when you started teaching, or was that first time on a bike going for it?
No. So, well, yes, that's when I started teaching. So I've wanted to teach. I pretty much became into the spinning culture and community as an avid almost every week thing, maybe for a majority of time, almost every single day, for the last, I want to say, almost 4 or 5 years. 4 years. I was pregnant. I hadn't known it at the time, but I had just had my first child, and I was like, I really want to get in shape. I wanted to get my body back, and I wanted to do something fun, right? And so I found this amazing studio, and my mom had spun with this instructor, and she was like, go to his classes. It was offered at 6 a.m. I'm such a morning bird. And I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. So I'm up at 5 a.m. anyway at the diner. So let me just do something productive at 6. And so I went and started spinning, and it went from 3 days a week. I found out I was pregnant, and then I actually started to increase it because I felt so good. For me, I'm an adrenaline junkie, and the bar.
I can tell. You're giving me that vibe. I can feel it.
Yeah, I love adrenaline, and so my bar is set really high. Actually, I used to skydive when I lived in Arizona for a short time, and I compare everything to that adrenaline feeling. And for the first time in a studio, I'm also a trained yoga instructor. I don't practice, and I practice a little bit, but I'm not teaching anymore. The first time I've gotten that high in a fitness class and felt all the endorphins and everything running through me was in a spin class. And so it became this way for me to let myself go and find myself in a different way, not just as a mom, but as a person, and finding out different things that I liked about myself that I didn't even realize. And so in the spin class, I started feeling that adrenaline. I started feeling that passion, that momentum, all that goodness coming back to me. And it actually changed my life, not just in exercise and living a healthy life. It became the catalyst for a very big lifestyle change for me. So then after doing it for about a year, I knew that I wanted more. I wasn't sure how to go about that at first, but I knew I wanted more. So I did a few auditions. I realized through those auditions, I did not get the job. I wasn't even ready, which to me was heartbreaking and amazing at the same time, because it was me willing to take a chance and see that I needed to grow more as a person and as an instructor before I could really put myself out there to the world. So it became this year and a half process of I started putting things into motion to get certifications and stuff like that, but I'm putting things into motion to get myself ready on the bike to stand forth and hold space for a room, whether it be physical, in person, or virtual. And so all those things started to come together. And, just as I was about to start making some moves and doing in-person auditions and start applying for them, the pandemic hit. And it's two of my friends said to me, why don't you just start teaching? Just start. Like, stop waiting for somebody else to give you the opportunity. Right now we're in a pandemic. Give yourself the opportunity. And I said, it's true. And I started, and it started with two people, and once a week, and it's grown to now 4 classes, and I give some other smaller classes aside from my general offerings every week, and it's been amazing. So it's taken a lot for me to get here, even just as far as setting up your own home studio. I thought at first it was like, oh, get a computer, get a bike, and you're done. No, there's so much more that has to come into it, as far as having the mic, having the sound integration. My riders gave me feedback all throughout this process, and they still do, because I asked for it, about what are the improvements I can make. And so I'm constantly working to upgrade and make the experience amazing for people, that makes them feel as if they are in a studio. It just may not be in a large boutique studio or a big box gym. So this process and the evolution to get to this point has been beautiful. And I think for me as a person, starting from the ground up has always been where I've come from. Not just kind of being handed some big thing. I like to learn from the ground up. So this process has been extremely humbling, and it's taught me a lot about what it takes to actually stand up, hold space, and really, deliver a class each and every time that is fluid and thorough and, comprehensive and enjoyable for the riders.
Exactly. So you briefly touched on at the beginning of that sentence, was that it's changed your life in so many ways. What were you maybe missing? What was kind of the landscape of your life that has changed with the introduction of spin?
So I used to have, I wouldn't say, I think you maybe as a broad, you can classify it eating issues, right? I was concerned about my weight all the time. I wasn't happy with the way I looked, even though I was thin. I didn't necessarily feel comfortable in my body. Even though I looked like I didn't personally. With spin, one of the things that I noticed was I actually started to need to eat more. So my eating pattern started to change. As a side note, something else happened. I stopped being able to drink soda. Some weird incident happened, and all of a sudden, the ability to drink Coca-Cola and Diet Coke changed. So from minusing that sugar out of my diet, all of a sudden my diet started to evolve. And then introducing spinning during that time it became the catalyst for this almost out inner body experience that I've never had. I never thought that I could attain. I used to live on sugar. I used to live on candy. I used to live on junk food. Like if it had a large amount of sugar in it, I ate it. I had it in my bag, always with me. Now I don't even eat candy. I mean, I eat nothing like that. Not because I went this extreme way, but because my body doesn't tolerate it anymore. And spinning has brought about that change because I needed to make sure. I used to take 2 and 3 before I started teaching, 2 and 3 and 4 classes sometimes at boutique studios. I needed to fuel my body. And I needed to fuel my body in a way that was safe and healthy. So in order to sustain what I was doing and then cross train otherwise, I needed to make sure that I was fueled properly. And all of a sudden, as I started to fuel my body properly while spinning, I started to feel comfortable in my body and not worry about my weight. I haven't gotten on a scale in a few years. Like, I go when the doctor weighs me, but other than that, I don't look. I don't care anymore. So it's made me very comfortable in who I am in many different ways that I never thought I would be or could be. So it really has been this catalyst for so many different things in my life because in order to fuel for the classes, I needed to change my eating lifestyle and make it healthier, make it more sustainable, and provide my body with the proper nutrients and everything to sustain it. So it's really been a huge, it has been the change that, propelled this whole entire lifestyle change for me.
Amazing. And that's such a unique, well, I say unique, but unique to you. But I feel like a lot of people these days struggle with the way that they look, with all these social pressures and, having to, I always say the downfall of Instagram, where everybody just seems to be picture perfect on Instagram. And all of this. With your community and with that, do you try and incorporate any of that into helping people, on an emotional basis, on a confidence basis? Is that an element that you try and hold?
Yes, 100%. Throughout my classes, it's not just about dancing on a bike and choreographing and pushing and all these other things. One of the things I really I actually do, is I put in different cues during my routine where I am challenging my riders to put something that they are working with on their plate, right? And push through that through different exercises that we do while we're training. And in addition to that, after my classes, what I found, and I wasn't sure how this was possible or if it would be possible, people would enjoy it. But what typically happens is after each class, a bunch of riders stay around and they're all Zoom classes. So we're sitting around just like you and I, and we start engaging in conversation. And these conversations come up. So the community is not just about the class, it's also about the discussions that occur after the class. And a lot of times they're about a lot of these different topics. I also host some podcasts on Clubhouse or rooms on Clubhouse where we discuss these things as well. So I try and break myself out into different arenas to make sure that I'm letting people know what we're doing and also finding out what people's struggles are because there are a lot of people that are spinning that, have different questions, have different struggles, things they want to address, things they want to answer or ask questions about. And as to what I'm able to provide, whether that's redirect to a nutritionist or something like that, or working on mindset and motivation, that is definitely something that's a part of who I am and what I deliver in my classes and outside of them.
That's amazing. That's fitness is so integral to mental health. It's so integral to that, and the whole body is a whole. So the fact that you take the time to do both is amazing, but also quite rare. I know a lot of people are motivational, but to actually have discussions and kind of enter necessarily into that maybe therapy mode is so good, especially after fitness. Do you feel like you can disarm your members and create that community that they can then share, off the bike, in their own personal time?
Yes. Well, I think the beauty of what I do, and I think there are other brands that are do it very well as well, is I think when you combine the physical, the emotional, and the mental aspect into a class, you really are able to reach this certain freeness or disarming nature that allows you to go and work through the things that you're working through, even subconsciously. So
Mhm.
I think after class, one of the things that happens is naturally as we work out, right, we're releasing all these different neurotransmitters, neuroepinephrine, dopamine, serotonin, all these things that making us happy, right, which I think sometimes naturally lowers our guard and allows us to be more freeing and, open to conversation, as well as because it's an exercise that you're working through on the bike. Now when you come out of it, you might want to talk about it, right? And I think one of the things that this pandemic has made us all realize is we miss connection, right? And that connection can be done in so many different ways. While we used to think it can only be done in face to face, we've had to really shift that model and develop connection through the virtual space. And thank God we have all this technology that we're able, there are some positives that come out of it. We're able to communicate in another way. So I think that the class itself, because you are in such a high state, you are a little bit more disarmed and you do want to have those conversations. And I think people want a place to talk about it and a safe space, because I think that it's hard to find that. And so that's one of the things I offer my community, is always a safe place to have conversation, to let it go while you're riding on the bike. I mean, I literally cue to that, I literally ask people to put something that they're working on, to imagine it as a sheet of paper, that right before we push, see that paper in front of you. Seeing is believing. And if you can see something in front of you, you can break through it. So, and then we push, and then all of a sudden, all that mind and body connection allows people to let go and work through things. So I think that's how it occurs. And then when we, engage off the bike, like I said, people want to talk and people want to share. So, I provide that space and people take advantage of it in the best way possible, because it brings us all together and it makes this not just a workout, but also a community. And I think that's really special.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So let's talk about your community. How
Yeah.
did it start? Because obviously, like you said, it started with 2 people. Is it based on Facebook? How did you spread the word? How has it grown to what it is now?
So it's literally like it's people talking, really what it is. So I post on my Instagram. I host these chats on Clubhouse. People have found me through there. A part of some different groups on Facebook. Friends tell friends, which I think is like the best recommendation ever, because people are like, "Oh my God, I want to know what's going on," or like, do you love this? What's different? People want to try something different. So it's really been word of mouth and just me posting and people reposting and sharing with their friends. And that's how it's grown. It's really been very organic so far. So it's really beautiful and I really love it. I love how it's
Fantastic.
come together. Yeah.
And I was going to say, you're still kind of you're in baby mode.
Yes.
It's like just started. So I
Year
can
one.
imagine it's going
Yeah.
to go bigger and bigger and better. So
Yeah.
let's get into the nitty gritty of what you offer. See if we can entice some new members for this community.
Yes.
Let's try this, shall we? So tell me, give me a breakdown of kind of your style, the sort of lengths of the classes, kind of what is
Yeah.
your thing?
So I am a rhythm-based instructor. We ride to the beat of the music, and we dance through that as well. There's a lot of choreography, optional for people that don't want to do it or are not ready to do it, but there for people that want to. Um, so we're dancing, we're riding to the rhythm. I have a weight section that's also incorporated in my class, just a small arm section. So people are getting, a full body workout in addition to riding full body. I want to, work on the arms as well, and the obliques and the torso. So we do that. I offer 30-minute classes, 45-minute classes, and 60-minute classes. Most of my classes, which I always let my riders know, run maybe like 48 minutes. The 60-minute classes, no matter what, always run 60 to 67 minutes. I love to spin and I want to make sure people are actually getting a full hour of spinning so that the arms does not take up time in that spinning portion. So I offer those 3 types and I have on demand. So I teach in the mornings, Eastern Standard Time, 9:45, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9:30, Saturday morning, which is the hour class. And then we're adding in the 30 minutes on Tuesdays and Thursdays in, I think, like around 7:30. And then we're going to start teaching 8 p.m. classes for people that want to ride at night live.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Growing, growing, growing. This is
Yes.
what I like to hear.
Yeah.
So tell me, a little bit more about the journeys that you've seen your riders undertake. Obviously, with that sort of talking and that openness, I imagine their emotional evolution has been quite
Yeah.
strong and impressive. But how have they felt, like, physically? Are they kind of new to it? What was their uptake? And if somebody was going to, let's say, come on board and get involved with your community, what can they expect, kind of the change that they might come into?
So most of my riders, I always ask for feedback. So I really want to know what people are taking from it, right? Because I know what my goal to deliver is, but I don't know if that's always what is being taken from it.
Mhm.
But it seems to be it is. So one of the things my riders always say is they love coming to class. Like, it doesn't feel like a workout. It feels like they're having, like, it's like a party on a bike. They just happen to be working out as well. So that's one of the things. And people are excited to come to class. They're happy while they're in class, and when they leave, they tell me that their days have been changed. Like, they're happier. They feel better about themselves. So everybody is leaving really happy. I'm really excited about whatever's left of their day. I have riders in India, I have riders in California. So everybody's on different time frames. So for here, one of my riders that's in India, when I'm teaching her in the morning, it's nighttime, and vice versa. So we're on completely different times of the day, but she keeps coming. The people who keep coming back because they're leaving feeling great. They're seeing differences in their body. And most of my riders have actually had bikes for some amount of time before they've come to me. So I'm not their first experience at all. They're people that have been riding for years, that their bike has just been collecting dust. They heard about me from a friend, they tried it out, and they've continued. So I seem to be like, people just want to have a good time, but they also want to work out during it, but they don't necessarily want to, even though you feel like you're working out a lot during class, because it's fun and because I think it's to speak to every level. Like, I have riders that are in their 60s, and I also have riders in their 20s, and I have riders in between. So it's not like I only have one set group or age range that is coming to my classes. So I'm appealing to a very large range, and people are just they're feeling great in their bodies. They're seeing results. People are looking to lose weight. People are losing weight. People are looking to just feel good. People are feeling good. So all the different reasons that people are coming, they seem to be getting out of it what they're looking for, which is basically what I'm trying to deliver: just community, having a great time while working out. Because it's really, my mom worked out when I was a kid. I always saw my mom going to classes. I know that fitness is a part of heart health, about body health, and also mental health. So for me, I want to make sure that I'm hitting all those different points for all of my riders. And it seems to be working. The community is growing, and it's amazing. So yeah.
Fantastic. Well, that was going to lead me on to my next question perfectly. Parenthood. So you've obviously been inspired by your mum when it comes to the world of fitness. Do you think you're passing this inspiration on to your kids? Is that something you try and, incorporate into their lifestyle? Be like, hey, mum's spinning. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. So one day when my kids are, either the appropriate height and weight to get on a bike, I think they will all jump on it. So it's really funny, actually. My studio is on like a separate section of the house, so nobody goes near it during the day or during the night. It's not a part that you pass. So when my kids come up here, my oldest daughter knows exactly what's happening, and she likes to sit on the bike. And I go like this during class, ha, ha, ha. And so she'll repeat, "Mama, look, ha, ha, ha." And she'll put my mic on, and she sits in this chair back here, and she spins around, and she tries to,
Oh,
like, do different things. And sometimes when we're listening to music in the car, I'll be like choreographing while I'm riding, like.
yeah.
And so my daughters will do the same thing. They're like, "Mommy, come on, push up, press, press." And it's always so funny to see how they love it too. And my youngest daughter thinks it's a dance party up here because all they hear is just music.
Yeah.
So, and they know I love to dance. So we all love to dance together. So I really think they'll take to it. I think it's really important that we teach our children that fitness is an amazing thing and it's important. What's funny is I never thought I'd end up in this space ever, 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 ever. So what's amazing, I was used to look at spin instructors and be like, "Are you serious? Like, no, no way, no way." And even my first like 4 months spinning, I would sit. It's my favorite seat, by the way. I love sitting front and center. I love it. But one of my favorite seats is in the back. And I would sit in the back row and I'd get like the vision. You could see everything in the class. And I didn't know what I was doing. And so I would just laugh. They'd be telling me to turn on the resistance, and I'd be like, "Are you kidding me?" And I'd be chuckling away in my seat. It was fun, like we all start somewhere. And so watching my kids, watching myself, all of it, just showing that fitness is so important and that you have to stick with it because nobody knows how to do things, or especially spinning when you're dancing to the rhythm of the beat the first time. Some people get it, and some people take so long. So just sticking with things and trying new things and just staying active, I think is something that they can appreciate. And I really, they've seen me like struggle. So they've seen me build this brand. They've seen what
Yeah.
it's taken. And I think they not only appreciate it on a fitness perspective of staying active, but also on like, if you want to call it entrepreneurship type of thing about starting something and seeing it through, and even through the different undulations of how things work, just staying with something. And so it teaches
Commitment.
them a
Yeah.
lot of different things.
Yeah. Showing commitment. And also, I imagine seeing their mum so happy must be great. And to have that and to be able to bring that positivity into parenthood and it play off each other and be that sort of role model must just kind of work out. So I'm so happy for you that you've managed, get your dedicated space, out there, your kids are being active outside, out of the city, because I know it must have been tough with little ones in an apartment.
Yeah.
I mean, I would go stir crazy in an apartment, let alone with children. So I definitely commend you on that front.
Not to mention on the 27th floor. So you had a lot of things to do with a huge stroller, So how many elevators we would miss because they're packed,
Yeah.
So
Who'd need exercise? Just taking the stroller up the that'd be my workout for the whole day, I imagine.
Yeah.
I'll be like, and I'm done. But that's so good though that your kids are involved. So let's briefly, one last thing what I want to talk to you about, or what I want you to say is, if you were talking to somebody out here that maybe wasn't in fitness, maybe they kind of need to know that they need to start working out, what would you say to them to kind of convince them to try spin? Why do you think that might appeal to somebody who can't get that routine in, can't get that motivation to work out? Why do you think spin might be the thing for them?
Well, spin isn't for everyone, right? So I don't want to say just throw spin at it, right? What I would say to anybody that wants motivation and wants to start a consistent routine would be to start small, whatever you do, right? And whether that be if let's say the platform or the business or me, let's say I offer 30-minute classes, you're like, wait, I don't even know that I can handle 30 minutes. Take a 30-minute class and only ride 15 minutes of it, or move your legs, right? Starting out small, getting used to something. For me, spin, why I've loved it is because it's been very freeing. I've tried running. I have plantar fasciitis in now both feet, and I can't run. I've tried those classes. I have hit pain after. This is non-weight bearing, right? Because you have the resistance of the wheel. And for me, it doesn't hurt my body. I feel great doing it. A lot of those other high impacts types of exercises or classes for my body don't work. I end up resulting in pain. So for me, spin has been the thing that I can really do consistently and feel great while I'm doing it, not hurting my body parts, right? I don't even know what for it, but just not, I needed to figure out something that worked for me. And then I started small. And that's what made it consistent. I didn't force myself to work out 5 days a week, 7 days a week, because that wasn't what I was used to. So what I did was, I went from really not working out a lot at all. I was doing yoga maybe 4 times a week, but with a baby and no help. So that was, how the moves weren't, I couldn't really get the benefit fully out of the class because I couldn't really even complete certain things because I had a baby on the floor, you know, who's crying and doing all these different things. But for me, once I got back into spin, that was 45 minutes that I was away from everything. I'd gotten help, and I started small. I started 3 days a week, and that for me was working. And sometimes I can only do 1 day a week, right? Whatever worked, but keeping consistent and just holding myself accountable and saying, you know what? I care more about my health than I do the uphill battle that's going to be to achieve good health, right? And sticking with it. I mean, like really, consistency is key in this game of health and life, right? Because I think in general, that's why diets don't work. I say lifestyle changes because when we do these small things, like I'm only going to do it for a short amount of time, or I'm just going to try it for a month, that's not really giving your body and yourself a chance to develop the habits. They say it takes 20 something days, more towards 30, for your brain to even develop a habit. So you have to give yourself the chance to even get there. So I would just say start small and stay consistent. And give yourself the chance. It's going to be hard. It's going to be an uphill battle. It may be, it may not be, but it may be. And that's okay, you know? But recognizing that, staying humble with it, and just saying, that's okay. We all started somewhere, I think is the best thing that anybody new to anything can do.
Yeah, fantastic. No, great advice, because some people try and bite off more that they can chew, get a bad taste in their mouth, and then shun the whole thing. And that's not what, you know, the fitness world is about. And it can be hard to get into the fitness world if you are, I would say, you know, if the average person, you know, who maybe hasn't worked out before, to go in and amongst, you know, some people who look like they've been working out and they're so very dedicated, it can be very intimidating. Yeah. So I think, like you said, just start off small, and everybody starts somewhere.
Yeah.
The people that you see with those abs and those, you know, those ripped bodies, they started off like little humans like us as well before they became absolute gods. So, you know, I think, and having a community that, like you described yours as, is so supportive, I can imagine that people can accomplish that very easily in your hands. So before we go, what I want you to do is big yourself up. Give me all of your handles, everywhere that people can find you, but also how people can get involved and get on board with your classes.
So the best and easiest way to find me is really through Instagram. There's a link in my bio. It's _vibe, VIBE, with Vine, VINE _ on the Sutra platform. It's in the App Store. You could also find me under Lindsey Vine. And all you have to do is just sign up for class, send me an email, send me a DM. You can also find me on Facebook. Find me, DM me, send me a message, or just sign up for class. And I'm there, ready, willing, and waiting for you to have a great time, meet you, and let's continue the journey, you know?
Fantastic. Well, it's been incredible to talk to you, Lindsey, because yet again, I feel absolutely positive and pumped from talking to spin instructor. You are an absolute beam of sunshine, and I can only imagine what I would feel like with the adrenaline after a spin class with your amazing personality. So thank you so much for joining us today. Keep us in the loop with what's happening with the growth of your business, because I know you're going to go from strength to strength. So yeah, keep us all in the loop, and then hopefully we can touch base another time. But between now and then, I wish you the world of success.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And it's been so great to meet you and chat via Zoom instead of email. So thank you so much for taking the time. I'm serious. It's really nice. And it's so great to see that you guys are doing this and spotlighting instructors. It's really such a beautiful thing. So I also want to say thank you for enhancing our community, because it's really special to see people uplifting our instructors and different studios, and, you know, just introducing us to more people. So thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm blushing now. You are more than welcome. You are more than welcome. Like I said, I'm getting my kicks from talking to you guys too. So it's like a circle of happiness that we're creating. So I'm absolutely loving it. But thank you so much. And we will keep doing it. And we will keep putting stuff out there and bigging you guys up, because you deserve it, because you are literally the most inspirational people on the planet, in my opinion. So we'll keep lifting you guys up, and I will talk to you another time.
Amazing. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.